Do you know that historical Jesus doesn't exist? Do you know that there is zero historical evidence that Jesus actually existed? Many Western historians and scholars and writers have claimed this for centuries now, that historical Jesus does not exist. And this is why, if it wasn't for the Holy Quran, then Jesus would have been a myth, and no one would have been able to prove that Jesus actually existed. And some, of course, would say that Jesus was mentioned in the Bible many times. Well, the Bible is not actually a reliable book. No one can rely on the Bible when it comes to history or when it comes to factual evidence. And this is why these critics, these Western historians, scholars, and writers have denied the existence of historical Jesus. So if it wasn't for the Holy Quran, Jesus would have been a myth, and no one would have been able to prove that Jesus actually existed. To give you an idea of how this could be so easy, Jesus' ministry only lasted for 1 year, according to the Gospel of Luke. Imagine that. 1 year, only 1 year, his ministry lasted, according to the Gospel of Luke. So therefore, 1 year is nothing to prove anything. No one knew anything about Jesus outside of his community. Jesus came from a small town called Galilee in Palestine. And he did not leave Palestine, unless, of course, when he was a child, and where he fled to Egypt with his family, and then he returned. Yet other than that, no one outside this very small community knew anything about Jesus. And not only this, but the Jews denied his prophethood, denied his messianichood, and they covered up his teachings. They attempted to conceal his teachings. People barely knew anything about Jesus outside his small community. Even the Romans knew nothing about Jesus. They only started knowing who Jesus was through the accusations of the Jews that they were bringing forth in front of the Roman governors against Jesus. As to witnessing his miracles, all these supernatural signs and miracles that Jesus is claimed to have achieved in the Bible. Not everyone has witnessed his miracles and signs. We as Muslims believe that he had signs and miracles because the Holy Quran informed us this and confirmed that Jesus was a prophet. If it wasn't for the Holy Quran, 2 billion Muslims today would not have acknowledged the prophethood of Jesus. It's because the Holy Quran has confirmed that Jesus was a prophet of God, and this is why 2 billion Muslims around the world today believe in the prophethood of Jesus, believe in his messianichood, and believe in the signs and miracles and wonders that God Almighty has performed through him. Other than that, history does not prove the existence of Jesus. So aside from the Bible, all these books of the Bible, all these Gospels were actually written by unknown anonymous authors. They are not even disciples of Jesus. They are not eyewitnesses. Therefore, they are not a credible source, a reliable source of information to prove that something had existed or not. And this is why it becomes very difficult for historians and scholars and writers to prove that Jesus had existed historically.